What in tarnation is happening in Houston, John? I feel like you're the only guy that can really break it down for us.
Well, Deshaun Watson will never play another snap for the Texans. He wants to be traded. They want to trade him. They've been trying to trade him since March, but because of the 22 civil suits accusing him of sexual assault and misconduct, 10 complaints with the Houston Police Department, an investigation by the NFL, it could turn out to be a full season suspension, half a suspension, or no suspension. All that uncertainty, not to mention Watson's no trade clause, nobody's showing any interest right now. And at some point, maybe they will. So Watson reported to avoid the $50,000 a day fines. So they have him as the fourth quarterback on the practice field because they know he's not going to play for them. And as part of his role is to throw passes during the warm-ups to his receivers and then stand off to the sideline or behind the huddle. And then when they want to give some looks to some quarterbacks, they have guys go stand in the secondary in like two deep coverage. So he stands there, twiddles his thumbs. He's had his cell phone. He could check his texts and Instagram. But it seems like a waste to me. He should be in the facility working out on his own as if he were injured. But he's on the field. It's a sideshow. Yesterday was the biggest circus-like atmosphere I've ever seen since the Oilers left town for Nashville. And then today, most of the circus left town, and there were still a few of us around chronicling his every move.
Wow. John McClain here from the Houston Chronicle, joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show. John, how is this going to affect the team and the chemistry of the team when they see him going through the motions like this?
Well, first of all, David Culley, the new coach, Nick Caserio, the new GM, said it's not a distraction, and it's not on the field. I've watched every pass. It's not like he's interfering. Davis Mills, the rookie, talked to him a little bit today, and some of the coaches talked to him, and a few of the players from last year have talked to him. With 50 new players, including 42 veterans, a lot of them don't know him unless it's from the Pro Bowl or when they played against him or with him in college. So it's a very awkward situation, a very strange situation, nothing like I've ever seen, and they'll just make the best of it. David Culley, the coach, said, we asked him, is this what we're going to see every day? He said, we're on a day-to-day. And Nick Caserio told us it's a day-to-day endeavor. Without saying it, that means it could change at any point. Somebody steps up, makes them a good offer, he's gone.
Who could make the offer, though, right now, John? Because why would anybody make an offer on a quarterback in which you don't know what the outcome will be? We don't know whether the commissioner could get involved, whether this could go criminal. There are so many civil suits. I mean, how would somebody and why would somebody make that overture with such an open-ended ending?
Suzy, the only thing I can think of is if there's a team and they say, okay, we'll make this deal, we will absorb the criticism that comes with trading for a player with all these legal issues over his head, but at some point, whether it's 21 or 22, it'll be behind him. And when it is, he's a great quarterback. He played great last year. Watson was outstanding. It didn't translate into victories. It wasn't his fault. The defense was awful. 30th overall, 32nd against the run. They couldn't run the ball, 31st in rushing. But he was tremendous. And I'm guessing a team would do it with the idea we might just write off 2021. And if we get him this year, that's great. And we're looking more for 2022. If you were to make an offer now when nothing is resolved, I'm guessing it would be a lot cheaper than if it went to, say, before next year's draft and he had everything behind him and a bunch of teams interested in acquiring him.
I mean, you make an incredibly great point, salient point there. I just go back to the circumstances of 22 to 23. You know, I don't know anybody who has 22 to 23 different people. I mean, I've covered sports for 20-something years, and usually athletes have one or two people. That is it, that they'll let touch them. And it's just, there are so many questions here, John, that I just can't imagine being the team that would take the chance, even if it was financially palatable.
Suzy, it's 22 is unprecedented, of course. There's never been any situation like this in NFL history. But Deshaun is a great player. He's 26 years old. He's under contract through 2025, very popular with his teammates. But if you read those civil suits, and I've read every word of all of them, there are disturbing accusations in there. Those accusers deserve to be heard, just like he's innocent until proven guilty. And so far, we don't think they're any closer to a resolution now than they were 3 months ago.
This story's not going anywhere, John.
No, it sure isn't.
While he's getting all the attention and while that's been the focus, you wrote about running backs and receivers who aren't getting the attention down there. What are you seeing?
Well, nobody's getting attention here but Watson. It's almost like, oh, there are other players out here. Before training camp and before Watson reported to save the $50,000 a day fines, everything was about Davis Mills. Tyrod Taylor is the starter. Davis Mills, their first draft choice in the third round. And at some point this season, they've got to see him extensively, because if he makes them believe he can be the quarterback, it changes next year's draft. If he doesn't, they got to get a quarterback with the first pick, could be first overall. They're going to run the ball a whole lot more to take the pressure off the defense, take the pressure off Tyrod Taylor. They've got 4 veterans, 3 are new, and that's David Culley's philosophy, and that's Nick Casario's philosophy.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.